Oh, how's everybody doing this Monday? I hope everybody had a glorious weekend. I know I did. Played a little music with the band. Had some parades to go to. Mardi Gras season is in full swing in New Orleans. And that is the greatest free show on earth. Incredibly good time. Well, you know I have a good time. That's for sure. Little quick housekeeping, please. Check out our merch page. QR code take you straight to it. It has a lot of great swag. Great way to support the show and get yourself some great items in the process. And as always, we'll have our QR code take you straight to our tip function. We'd love to have your support. Please consider it. Cheap cup of coffee is all it costs to help us keep bringing you great indie authors, entertainers, and artists. And as always, please follow us, repost the shows, like us. That way more people can get to see and know all of these great indie creators that we have on the show. And of course, hit the notification bell on my profile. That way you never miss a show. A great episodes of Cocktails with Cav. And also, I don't know if anybody noticed, but I did activate the tip function at the top of my profile. So if you're feeling froggy, go ahead and jump and Venmo me at the tip function there. Oh, well, enough of all of that. Please, grab yourself a cocktail, sit back, relax, and join me in welcoming and getting to know the incredibly lovely and multi-talented Lisa Haden. Oh, Lisa, I'm so glad you agreed to come on the show. How are you doing over there across the pond?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing wonderfully now. I tell you, I feel like I know you from X with all your great gifts, and I feel like we're friends already. That's for sure. But I know I've been working on practicing where you're from, so I don't get it wrong. Because here we say Birmingham. We're just utterly American, but it's Birmingham. You're in Birmingham, England?
That's right, yeah.
I have to work on that for my audiobook narrations. Oh, well, Lisa, I tell you, I love you. You do all kinds of great work, which we'll talk about a little bit, of course. You have your alternative history trilogy that you're working on, as well as being a prolific singer and songwriter and just so talented and so wonderful a person. Get to know you on X. Why don't you tell the folks a little about yourself, because we love to get the creators to give away all their dirty secrets,
Oh, how much time do you have?
Whatever you take. I love X. We just have a free platform.
Well, my name's Lisa Haden. Some people may know me as Lisa Thomas. I not long got divorced, so I changed my name back to my maiden name, which is Lisa Haden. People often wonder how to pronounce that. So it's you say it almost like it's got the Y in, but it doesn't have the Y in. So I live in Birmingham in the UK. I'm a single mom of 3 children. I've got 2 cats, so I'm a sucker for punishment. I'm an author. I have 1 book out already, and that's the first book in a trilogy. I'm also a singer-songwriter and a GIF-maker, which was purely accidental. It was never supposed to actually take off, but yeah, I'm a GIF-maker too. And then I'm also a self-employed content writer and digital marketer.
Boy, you are all over the board. I tell you what, you're a busy lady. Mm-hmm. well, what do you do for fun while you? I know you and the kids have to get out the house every once in a while. What do y'all like to do?
Well, the kids are quite active, so they like swimming, they like trampoline parks and farms. They're very outdoorsy, so we do a lot of active things. They also like a lot of arts and crafts, and then occasionally we'll do normal things like cinema, bowling, all that kind of jazz.
Oh man, I tell you, yeah, and being a father myself, I know when the kids were younger, it's keep you active and with a purpose. That's for sure, huh?
Yeah.
Well, how do you find time for all the others creative work you do? Because I know it's, being an indie creator, it's tough work all in itself. That's for sure. What's your pace like during the day, and how do you keep up with your creative work?
Well, to be honest, my days are pretty busy because my youngest son is 4 and he's currently being assessed for autism. So he keeps me on my toes just by himself. So I have to take him to nursery and pick him up like halfway through the day. And then I've got my older girls who are in primary school and high school. So most of the day I have the mornings to myself. So that's when I do my content writing, my digital marketing, the paid work that I have on. My afternoons are busy with my son. My evenings are busy just feeding the animals. By that I mean the children, getting them bathed and to bed, and then I'll continue with my content writing work, and then depending on whether I've got time, I then do my creative writing and singer-songwriter stuff on the evenings. They do go to their dads some weekends, so I do get a little bit of time during the weekends to catch up, which is mainly when I do recordings and stuff for songs, because obviously that's difficult when the children are here.
Oh, sure. And I tell you, yeah, that's, I tell you what, you are working hard at it. That's for sure. And the work, I tell you, I'm very fascinated by your work. As we were looking at it and talking about your alternative history series that you have going with Unprecedented Times, and of course there's the new book. You're gonna have to tell us a little about it. I don't know. Can you see your website behind us? I'm not sure if you can or not, but we'll definitely try to get it up for you.
Oh, there we go.
But tell us a little bit about the inspiration for the alternative history series that you have going, and tell us some about it.
So when the COVID-19 outbreak started in December 2019, when it first broke out in China, everyone in the UK, I don't know about the US, but everyone in the UK were just saying, oh, it's nothing, it's not going to affect us. It's like the swine flu or mad cow's disease, it's just going to sort of come and go and it's not going to impact us. And I just thought, well, what if it did? And then I had this idea that the whole world sort of came down with COVID, so it went around the world as it did. We all went into pandemic state, we all went into lockdown, and then that actually happened in real life. So the first part of the first book is actually quite close to real life, which is where the inspiration for the name Alternative History came from, because lots of people who've read the book have said, actually, it's quite scary because this is how it could have happened. So my book follows the real life up until we go into lockdown and it becomes a pandemic. But then in my book, the virus mutates. It becomes much more lethal and much more contagious. And the world leaders have to make a decision. Do we save humanity by giving up our humanity? So how far are we willing to go to save ourselves and protect ourselves? And they have a decision to make. Do we eradicate everyone that's been infected so that they don't come down with this more lethal strand of the virus? Do we simply remove them from society, or do we do nothing and just sort of let it run its course?
Well, I tell you, yeah, that's fascinating, because you're right. I think we all were thinking during the pandemic times and the lockdowns, how far was it going to go? And, we definitely, I think that was at top of mind for probably everybody, right?
Except for Donald Trump, who was like, no, it's fine, we're going to be open by Easter.
Well, I tell you what, we, without giving too much away, because obviously readers, you have to go buy the books, obviously. We'd love to support Lisa and her work. Without giving too much away, how drastic does it get in your alternative history?
Oh, well, let's just put it this way. I do not want to live in my books. I would rather not live in my book. I'm happy with the way it went in real life, and the fact that we came out of the pandemic. We did lose a lot of people, obviously, which is absolutely heartbreaking, but we did come out of the pandemic stronger than before. In my book, we aren't quite so lucky. So the world leaders have to make this decision as to what they're going to do. And obviously, it's one of those situations where they couldn't really do right for doing wrong, because it doesn't matter what decision they make, people aren't going to be happy with it. So the book is science fiction in this respect, but it's also dystopian. So that might give you an idea as to how it actually plays out and what decision the world leaders make. But I create this dystopian world. So the next 2 books are going to be partly set over real life, but the real life that I've created, and partly this dystopian world which is running alongside real life.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you, yeah, and if they happen to have another one, I'm just gonna run to Florida like we did at spring break and just stay outside.
Let's buy a yacht and go sailing.
Yeah, we were okay by Easter in Florida. We just no. Oh, well, you're working. I know. I believe we had talked about it. You're working on the second part of the trilogy now as we speak, or?
That's right, yes. So the first book covers the first 18 months after the initial breakout. So it goes from the 31st of December 2019 through to 18 months later. And then we come to New Normal. So in New Normal, the idea is at this point we should be getting back to a normality in real life, and the people in the dystopian world are finding their new normal. Whether that happens or not, you'll have to read the book.
Absolutely, that's right. No spoilers. That's a well, and I tell you, yeah, looking forward to the continuation of the story. Do you have an anticipated release date for New Normal?
I'm hoping it will be by the end of this year. Unfortunately, I've just been really delayed in writing this book because I've just had a lot of personal issues going on in the last year, personal issues and a couple of family losses. So that sort of knocked me back in my timeline. So I was hoping it would be released by sort of September. It's looking closer to Christmas now. I may postpone it until January because a lot of people who have released books around Christmas time have said that they haven't done actually that well because people are too focused on, buying Christmas presents and whatnot. So it may be the end of this year, if not the start of next year.
Oh, yeah, I tell you, you're right about Christmas. That's a hard market season. That's always. But and when are you? Can we get a scoop on Cocktails with Cav about the third book's possibility, the final book in the trilogy?
I'm hoping that will be the year after because the second and third book are all thoroughly planned out. So I've known from the very beginning how this story is going to end. And the reason why I split it up into 3 books was simply because the story was too long and too in-depth to squeeze into one book. It would have felt far too rushed. So I know exactly how it's going to go, and hopefully that will be released sort of a year after the second book comes out.
Oh, awesome.
But I don't know what it's going to be called yet. So if anyone has any ideas, they need to let me know.
Oh, there you go. That's right. Can we have a naming contest?
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome. I tell you what. And I tell you, not to be remiss, Lisa, I know you do an incredible amount of work in music as well. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about that too? Because I know you're all over the place. You have a lot of great singles, and I don't know if you can see the website behind us now, but I'm kind of scrolling through your site. You have a lot of great singles already up on your website, and of course they're available on Spotify and Apple Music and YouTube, etc. So yeah, kind of give us the take on your music portion of your career, because you're so talented in that as well.
Well, I started playing instruments when I was a child. So I started singing lessons when I was, I think, 10 years old. And then I started piano lessons a couple of years later. And then I started drum lessons a couple of years later. So I was had singing lessons for 7 years, piano lessons for 5 years, and drum lessons, I think, for 3 years. And I really, really enjoyed playing music. I found it a fantastic sort of release from the madness of real life. But because I've never particularly been very confident, I hated the performing side of it. So when I got to sort of 17, people were saying to me, what are you going to do for a career? Writing a book is fantastic, and doing your music is fantastic, but these are both sort of pipe dreams. Neither of them are, a sensible career path. So at that point, that's when I stopped my music, and I didn't play any instruments or do any performing from the age of 18 up until when the pandemic started. And I got I bought a keyboard, and I bought a second-hand electric drum kit, and I just got back into it then. Basically, my ex-husband and I broke up as soon as lockdown finished. We broke up, and being in this relationship had completely crushed me of all my confidence, and I kind of felt like a shell of the person that I once was. So getting back into music was not only my way of dealing with the madness and sadness of everything that was going on, but it was also my way of sort of getting myself back. So I started playing instruments again, and then I started writing lyrics simply because I enjoy writing anyway. I sat down one day with the intention of just writing a poem. It turned into a song, and I discovered this love of lyric writing that I'd never known before, because I'd never tried it. So I started putting music videos on YouTube of me doing cover versions. There's one of me doing Boulevard of Broken Dreams on the drums, a multi-instrumental of Lose Yourself. And then I also started putting these lyrics that I'd written onto my website. And a few different musicians on X, which was then Twitter, had approached me and asked me to collaborate with them to turn some of these lyrics into songs. But because of my fear of performing and lack of confidence, I was like, nah, you're all right, thanks. And eventually I decided to just go for it, because my children had seen some of my videos on YouTube, and they were like, Mummy, why don't you become a singer-songwriter? And they said it was something that they wanted to do, and asked if it was something I wanted to do. And I was like, no, I don't think I'm brave enough. And then they thought about it, and they went, actually, maybe we're not brave enough either. And I sort of saw my lack of confidence rubbing off on them, and thought, actually, you know what, I need to start stepping out that comfort zone. So I then started working with a gentleman named Chris Fowler, who is already a musician, has years and years of experience and hundreds of songs out there. I worked with him to convert my lyrics into songs, and that resulted in Rainbow After the Storm, which was my debut single. That came out in October last year, and since then it's just sort of escalated. It's really been driven by the people on X who have been tagging me as this musician, and I kind of felt like a fraud because I'd never done anything with my music. I was just sort of winging it, as I went along, sort of thing. So yeah, and now I have like 7 singles available on all major streaming platforms, and I have nearly 2,000 followers on Spotify, and nearly 700 monthly listeners on Spotify, and it's just taken off way more than I expected.
Well, and I find that with X, as for all the talk generally in public that they talk about X, sometimes people, it's a hard place to be, and with trolls and things like that. But I've found the community's just so supportive of creators, and so I'm glad it went that way for you too, because and that's how I got to know you as well, through the community, and the taggings and discovering the talent. And I just think it's so important in this day and age that, especially with AI coming and streaming across all various platforms, that there's a place where creators can be encouraged and, you know, get their work in front of people. So
absolutely, I agree. And this was something that I thought to myself, because before becoming a singer-songwriter and an author, I'd sort of never really spent much time on social media, because I sort of saw it as this kind of place where it was just fake, where people would go on and, you know, they'd show their happy photos, but it was never, you never saw the bad photos, you never saw the negative things. So I kind of didn't see it as a healthy place for people to be, because it just felt like it was raising people's expectations. You know, you've got to have this perfect family and this perfect life, but there's so much more that goes on outside of social media. But then actually when I joined X, I found it to be the exact opposite. It wasn't fake, it wasn't dog eat dog, it was very supportive. And like I say, if it weren't for the community on X, I wouldn't have bothered pursuing my music. I'd have probably continued just messing around and doing covers and stuff like that, but I don't think I would have actually created my own songs. That's simply become because people have been calling me a musician and supporting me in that respect. And it's also the same with the GIFs. If it weren't for the community there, I wouldn't have done those. I created one on a whim to say thank you to the X community, because they'd supported me during one of the Pit Mad competition things that they used to run. And the community just went crazy over it, and that's why I created more GIFs and eventually had my own Giphy channel, and now I have over 70 million views on those GIFs, and that was just a bit of fun.
Well, that's how I found you. It was like, hey, we all love the GIF. We're on it. You make some incredible GIFs, and it's just, but yeah, no, I tell you, that's an interesting story in itself. Just how the community on X, like you said, ended up spurring you towards more creation and being supportive. And because I think a lot of it's like you said, confidence is 90% of the battle, and to have a community that's supportive of you and willing to help you get your work out there is incredible, you know.
I'm willing to boost that confidence for you, because like I say, I didn't have any confidence whatsoever, and it's only because of the encouragement of people on there that I've had that confidence to push myself and keep pushing myself out of my comfort zone. And that's why I do those daily self-promotion posts, because I just think it's really important to keep giving back to that community and to foster this supportive, loving family environment that we've got going on there.
It is, and because I tell you, I mean, where else can an ugly old man have a Cocktails with Cav show and have great, good-looking guests, and people say it's a good show? I don't know. X, you're wonderful, X. You're just a wonderful platform.
I enjoy it.
No, and I tell you, I am, and ladies and gentlemen in the audience, if you haven't gotten to know Lisa yet, she really is just a wonderfully kind person, wonderfully supportive in the community, in kind, just like she said, in returning the favor, because the community is that way. It's growing a lot. But if you haven't already followed Lisa, please do on X at Lisa Marie Haden. Her handle's right there on the screen underneath her video. And I know you can't see it, Lisa, but up above us all show long, there's been a banner, and that QR code, ladies and gentlemen, will take you straight to Lisa's link tree. I put the QR code to the link tree, and there you'll find links to all of her incredible work she's been doing, including the website that we've been looking at that has all of her books and her singles. And do you have any newsletter or anything on your website that you've
No, not really. I do have a subscribe function, so people can subscribe to the website. But because I'm so active on social media and I update the website frequently, I kind of felt like a newsletter was redundant. I don't have enough news to share regularly enough to warrant a newsletter. And because I'm so busy doing other stuff, I figure, if I did do a newsletter, I'd have to take away from the time from the content writing or the music, and I'd rather be focusing on doing those. I've got another single coming out soon called Masquerade Ball. I'm working on my second book in the trilogy. So I've got plenty to keep me going, and then I've got the 3 kids as well, so they keep me busy.
Oh, I assume, yeah. The heck with a newsletter. You don't need that. It was, and you're very prolific on X, and that's would you say that's kind of been the key to some of your success in the community on X? Is just that being engaged as much as you are?
Yes, because I post regularly, so it's every single day, and then I'll do additional sort of posts on the weekend, do lists where I tag people, but I think what's helped me the most on X is the fact that I am quite supportive of other people. So a lot of the time we'll have someone new join, and someone will introduce me to them, meet this new person, help them to gain more followers. So I will then tag that person into lists with hundreds of other people so that they can connect with new people. And obviously they then are quite loyal to me in the fact that they will then continue to follow me, they'll continue to support me. So I've built it up that way. And also the GIFs, I think, have made people think that I'm better than what I am. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm dressing for the role I want or something with these GIFs, but I think people think that I'm sort of bigger than what I actually am because I've got these GIFs out there. So I think those have helped a lot.
No, and I tell you, yeah, and I really appreciate the fact that the community, for myself, has been so supportive. It's a wonderful time. But Lisa, I really can't thank you enough for taking time out of your obviously busy day that you have going all the time. But, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, Lisa is a wonderful person, kind, supportive, great member of the X community. So please go give her a follow over on X at Lisa Marie Haden. And please go up and visit the QR code Linktree at Lisa Haden. I believe your Linktree's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so please go visit her Linktree and check out all of her great work, and especially go check out all of her great work in the novel department, where she's got her alternative history trilogy and second book in the works on being released, and of course the first one already released, Unprecedented Times. So please go check that out as well, and that's available, of course, on your website, as well as where can they get your book from, if you want to go ahead and tell them?
It's on Amazon. I've taken it off the website because I added it to Kindle Unlimited on Amazon, so people can read it for free if they've got that Kindle Unlimited account. But one of the stipulations of that is that it can't be available for purchase elsewhere. However, I might put it back on my website because I have had a couple of people request autographed signed copies of the book, so I might put it back on there and take it off Kindle Unlimited, but we'll just have to see.
I want one.
Yes, I'll send you one.
Thank you. See, the show has perks. That's what I'm talking about.
You can't say it if I get famous. You have to keep it forever.
That's it. You're on Cocktails with Cav. You've made it. I don't know what else you need.
I can retire now.
Oh, Lisa. But again, I know I've said it earlier in the show, but I'm just very appreciative of you agreeing to come on and being our guest and telling us a little about your work and yourself. So, ladies and gentlemen, please go give Lisa a follow on X at Lisa Marie Haden, and by all means, go visit her Linktree and her website and check out all of her great work. Lisa, I appreciate it. From Birmingham. Can I just say Birmingham? I'm next to Alabama down here. I have to say Birmingham, or they're going to get on me.
I prefer it anyway, just like I prefer the way you say times. It's quite refreshing to hear it sounding different.
Do you like y'all too? We say.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like is ma'am, because it makes me feel really old.
Oh, well, let's, don't worry about that. I have that department covered on the show, so we're good. Well, Lisa, please have a great rest of your evening. Coming to us from Birmingham, England, and just lovely guest, and I certainly appreciate you being on.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been lovely to speak to you today.
Okay, Elise, cheers.
Cheers.